Weather Wagers is back another week, and Dan, we have got a lot to talk about. You are Dan Tomaso. I am merely Brett Thacker.
Great to see you.
Great to see you as well.
I had so much fun last week. I enjoyed listening back to it, and as I'm watching these games, whether it's baseball, whether it's college football, whether it's NFL, I go back to what I said on this podcast. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch it play out in real time, especially when weather's a part of these games, because we keep preaching that.
Well, we do, and we're going to recap last week, too, because, as you know, we have some things on the line, but my goodness, it is just great to be back. It's great that football season is back upon us, and we had our official premiere episode last week with those Week 0 games. We got a new set. We got new graphics. I think we look pretty darn good, if you ask me.
I think it's going swimmingly well.
And here is where you can find us. Of course, we do want to remind everybody some of the main sources for this program, abc27.com and our ABC 27 News Plus app, which you can get on your smart TV device like a Roku, like an Apple, like a Fire Stick. We're there. And, of course, wherever you get your podcasts, you can watch us on YouTube. Just search ABC 27 News. We're there. And go to podcasts. And guess what? You're going to find Weather Wagers, Apple, Spotify, Amazon. There it is, Daniel. And, man,
good, wholesome content.
We are. So I just wanted to start this week off by, if we can, each picking a topic that was on our minds. And I'm going to let you start here before we get into more specific topics. What's going on in your little world here for week one before we kick off week one of college football?
I have to say that I think it's pretty cool being a Philadelphia sports fan for many reasons right now. And if you're not, you may be saying, well, forget that. But how rare is it? And I just want to go back in time. So Donovan McNabb era of Philadelphia Eagles football kind of kicked off this golden era, if you will, of Eagles football. Then comes along a little bit of a period of, how should I say this? Tumultuous time. With Unrest, right. And so then, all of a sudden, Doug Peterson, he wins a Super Bowl. Jason Kelce becomes more of a prominent figure. And now, Jason Kelce's brother, you would say, is pretty popular, too.
I mean, I guess he's a chief, but...
He's a chief. He is a chief. But Jason Kelce, at the center of this, because of the New Heights podcast, because of his brother, they did something big this week, right?
Did they?
Something happened.
What happened, Dan? Tell me.
Somebody named Taylor Swift, who's the same age as I am, so I guess I always kind of relate to her in some way, that she made it, she did it.
She's worth a little more.
She's worth a little bit more, but not much more. I mean, I'm creeping up on her, I think.
I think you're right. Maybe she should have given you a look.
So, obviously, there was a big engagement, but I just think it's cool that there is some type of Philly sports component, because for many years, and even growing up a Philadelphia sports fan, I just feel like I've been low-lighted for much of my life, and you know, whether it was the Patriots' run of success and now maybe the Chiefs are right up there too, but it is so cool that the Philadelphia culture has risen so much.
Well, I agree with you. And remember, she's from Pennsylvania,
Yeah, she's from Pennsylvania, too.
But I think it's great. You know, I understand a lot of people think I'm Mr. Cynical, and I am. But I really do wish them the best. I have no problem with them. I don't think it's fake.
No, I don't think it's fake either.
I think it's real. I think he kind of shot his shot. She writes all these songs about wanting a guy to romance her. Guess what? He did.
Yep, he did.
I think she fell in love. They can relate to a lot. You know, they're both famous. They're both uberly rich. They both probably want to be left alone when they're not in the public eye. I think they can relate to that, and I think they have quite a thing going. And they said, of course, they're going to wait till after the Super Bowl. But I'm personally hoping they don't even have to worry about the Super Bowl this year, those Chiefs.
Me too. I hope the Eagles are right back there. But again, I just think that Jason Kelce connection, who we probably never thought when he was drafted and
was wearing the mummer suit.
Right, wearing the mummer suit, that this was all going to take place. I mean, it really has been something to watch and see unfold.
Well, they're like Romeo and Juliet, right?
Yeah, modern day.
Isn't that one of her songs?
So, again, that's enough of that, but I just thought I'd start out the podcast with that because we're relevant.
Well, in a way, but I mean, that was the topic of the week.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it. Now let me get into a topic.
And, of course, it involves football.
It does. Well, we're going to get to football. But first, I'm going to take a moment because, and it's on our lineup here.
Yep.
We each pick a topic that was on our minds. Dan went with an engagement. I'm going to go with the Phillies series up at Citi Field. I've never seen a baseball team that has the demons that this Phillies team has in New York. It was pathetic. It was absolutely a disgrace. You go in there up 7 games. Now, if you win those games, you leave up 10, the Mets are dead. Now, okay, I realize, listen, great news, we're still up 4. The Mets are hanging around. You may now have to play them in the playoffs because you could have absolutely buried them. I think they're fighting the Reds for a playoff spot. And then you don't have to go up to Citi Field ever again this year. You're trying to win a World Series. Instead, you go up there, and it's the same old thing that has haunted them before. The bats go cold. You got Kyle Schwarber, who we do need to re-sign, who's been great. He's 0 for 20 or whatever it is. Bryce had a good night, but then again, when it came time to be clutch in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, he goes away. Our bullpen fell apart. We didn't show up, and it was absolutely horrible. And as a Phillies fan, I'm going, why does this keep happening? It's deja vu all over again, and I'm sick of it. I really thought that they galvanized at first behind Zach Wheeler and his absence and what happened to him. But now, I'm looking at this series. I told you last week I was so impressed with what they did against the Mariners.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan, I think you and I are going to have words here because I know you want to stay positive, and I get that. Look, we're 4 games up. That's fine. But it's a series to me, and I said this last week, that Mariners series to me was a series that you have to perform well in if you're a playoff team. Well, guess what? You're riding high. You're getting hot at the right time. You've got to go to New York and win 2 of 3. And quite frankly, the way the Mets team has been playing, they were left for dead. You go up there and you go for the sweep and you stomp on their throats. This Phillies team does what it has always done. When the lights get bright, they choke. And if that's what's going to happen again in October, I want to warn you right now, it's going to be severely disappointing because as impressed as I was with the Mariners series, they come right back and they pull this stunt. And it was a joke. It's a joke.
Well, okay, so I'll start in on this a little bit, but I want to kind of first, for context, say my general feeling is disappointment. I thought the more appropriate expectation was 1 out of 3 because, again, going up to New York, this team is desperate. They're holding on to their playoff lives because I think coming into this series, they only had a 2-game lead on the Reds, and now I believe
good
it's
news
4.
for them. The Phillies were coming to town. They play and listen. I'm going to interject something here too because I know you always say this. For some reason too, everything goes their way when they play us. They have our number, and I understand all of that too. But these guys just, again, I saw some bad habits from Trey Turner this series. Schwarber goes cold. Little things.
In Trey's defense, though, he starts the series with a triple, and it's pretty electric to begin.
He did, but that's not enough. They're not winning. They're not scoring. In that first game, they laid down. They lose 13-3. The second game, they fought back. I agree. But then you've got your big-time closer who everybody was excited we got at the trade deadline. He comes in, he gives up 4 hits, and we lose. And then last night again, I mean, it sucked.
Well, I can't disagree with a lot of what you're saying, but I will say this much, that I think what you are saying and what some of the fan base is saying is what you got to avoid, and you just have to move on. Baseball's played every day. It's 162 games.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that, Dan. I understand.
But
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
You can't throw out all the work that's gone into it to this point.
No, well, listen. Here's the problem,
there's a reason why they were 7 up. I mean, that is a fact.
You're right, but a big part of that reason was the Mets were horrible, and they were playing horribly.
Well,
now what we've done is we've given them life. We've given them a lot of hope.
They have to still do a lot.
And the Phillies do not play well when they start to have doubts about themselves, and that is what this series is going to do. To me, it was the exact whatever the worst thing that could have happened.
I guess.
You can't let that happen. That's my only point.
But what I want to caution you about is there's still a 4-game series in Citizens Bank Park to go against this team, and so you still can bury them. I mean, that part's not over with.
Well, let's talk about the schedule ahead and sort of where this division stands now, because we have divisional games. I understand we still have a 4-game lead.
Right.
Are the Braves going to play us tough? Because we got to go to Atlanta. We got to go to Atlanta.
Well, no, that's a home series.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're coming back home
No, they're
today.
coming back home in Philly. But, that doesn't matter. Are the Braves, I mean, they're
I think
dead.
It does matter. I do
okay,
think
you do think
I
it
do
matters.
think home field advantage matters a lot.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at every team that's a contender, their home records are much, much better than their road records.
Sure,
that is a fact.
But you got to play. See, my point is, though, you're going to have to play. I mean, now, especially if they creep into the playoffs, you're going to have to play at Citi Field perhaps in October.
Maybe. But again, a lot still has to go right for this Mets team. I think you're ignoring the fact that coming into this series, how poor they were playing.
Well, you know what? If they play the Phillies, a lot is going to go right for them.
Well, there's only 4 more games against them. I will say this much.
That's the division lead right now.
I think there is something going on. And I say this, there's a little bit more than speculation happening, because the Mets against every other opponent do not hit this well. I think there is something going on that either they know the pitching cadence or they know signs, which is perfectly legal if they know what's going on. And that is something that needs to be fixed. Maybe it's the way JT calls games. Maybe it's whatever signals they're using on the infield. But there was a moment last night where a batter creeped up closer and closer to home plate, and Taijuan Walker stopped what he was doing and said, "Back up." There is something happening, and the Phillies are aware
smoke,
of it.
There's fire. I'm with you. I understand
Something
that,
is
and
up.
this did light up X last night.
And
I know.
I just think, too, if you go back to last year's playoff series, no matter what pitcher we threw out there, it just seemed like they knew what was coming.
And
the contact was loud and it was frequent. And again, I'm not using that as an excuse. I just think something more is happening here that...
Well, then we've got to figure it out. Mets, Rob has to fix it because it's just disgusting what's happening. I mean, I cannot watch this team and feel confident now going into what I feel is a home stretch. 4-game lead now is not much. And if we look at
I also think it to me, it's not the worst thing to narrow the gap a little bit because now there's a push.
Well,
if you're kind of riding high a little bit, I actually think having a 10-game lead can lead to some bad habits.
Complacency.
Too.
Well, I don't buy it though because they shouldn't have been complacent. They knew what the fans thought going into that, and they proved everybody right.
Another thing
That's
I will
my
say
point.
too.
That's
in
my
all
problem.
3 games, there was one big inning. So against Christopher Sanchez, there was one big inning. Against Jesus Luzardo, there was one big inning. And last night, there was one big inning against Taijuan Walker. So, again, I think there's more to this story happening, unfortunately.
Well, let's take a look at that schedule again because I want your thoughts. We have a 4-game lead, the Phillies in the division. We do have a 4-game series against the Braves. Then we have to travel to Milwaukee, which is a weird series, Dan, because we have sort of an off day in between.
It's very odd.
Then we have to play the Fish, always tough, and we have to go there. And then there is, again, I know it's close because it's on our schedule board. We do the next 4 series. The Mets are coming back, and they're going to play us at CBP. But we have 8 divisional games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is done on purpose that every September there's supposed to be a lot of divisional games.
What do the Phillies need to do in order to increase their lead again in this division with this schedule?
I mean, I think it's just playing that consistent baseball. It's both the pitching and hitting coming together on the same night. That didn't really happen in this Mets series, but it has happened through a good part of the year. And I still think Schwarber's going to get hot again. Bryce has stayed hot since he's come off the injured list, which has been huge. And Trey Turner is likely the 3rd MVP candidate in the league. So
okay, well,
I'm still pretty confident.
I understand that, but I didn't hear any specifics there. It was a lame answer about baseball being baseball, and
I didn't
these
say
guys
that.
stay. Well, no, but you said these guys have to be consistent. Well, but that's exactly what they didn't do against the Mets. Here's what they need to do. Look at the schedule. They've got to split the series with the Braves. If we split it or win it, I'm happy. You've got to win one against the Brewers and not get swept.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't get swept against the Brewers, I'll be happy. You've got to win the Marlins series.
Yep.
We're a better team than them.
Yep.
You've got to go down there and take 2 out of 3.
Yep.
So just to recap, and I'll get to the Mets in a second, you have to split or better the Braves. You've got to avoid getting swept in Milwaukee. You've got to win the Marlins series, and then you've got to do exactly the opposite. You got to win all 4 against the Mets. If they don't do those things,
well, I don't think that's realistic. I think they need to split with the Mets because if you split with the Mets, then whatever lead we have stays the same.
You're right about that, and I get that. I want to see them put it to the Mets because then I will know, Dan, that this team is serious in the playoffs.
I think you have nothing to worry about when it comes to the Mets in the playoffs. I really do. I think somebody else will take care of them before we have to see them.
I hope we come back next week and you're right, but I'm thoroughly disgusted. And you have always tried to talk me off a ledge, but I'm ready to jump. Okay? I'm ready to jump.
Do me a favor, if you can, in the next week, watch a Mets game and see how they play against everybody else.
Well, that's going to be the tell. That's going to be interesting. Let's talk about the forecast to see if we have anything to worry about in Philly for this Atlanta series. Of course, it actually starts Thursday, but we're going to talk about the weekend because that's what we do.
Big weekend.
I'm not buying the rain on Friday. I think it's a weak front.
Yeah,
and by the way,
passive front.
Dan, the game is Friday night. I think that's an Apple TV game, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
So it's going to be a nice night, right? 70s and not much to talk about.
It's more of what we've had recently that it's laissez-faire.
70s on Saturday. These are all night games, by the way, against the Braves. And then we are bum, 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 Sunday night baseball, right?
Great. I have to listen to those announcers.
I do like Ravi. I like Ravi.
Hopefully we get him.
Well, that's true. He's been doing the Little League. I think that's over, though. But 75 Sunday night, that's going to be good. Wind speeds, again, please. There's nothing to worry about here, folks. A nice breeze. And It's going to be coming in from the Northwest for a good part of the weekend. I think it's going to be another fantastic, in this case, holiday weekend at CBP.
Well, and some of our best pitching lines up this weekend, too. So if you have tickets to the game, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, I think you're going to get some good matchups. Obviously, tonight, which is Thursday, Aaron Nola's going. Not sure what you're going to get, but we're also facing a former Marlin and Cal Quantrill. So I feel pretty good heading into this weekend.
Yeah, here is the official forecast. We're talking about 80 degrees on Friday, 70s on Saturday, 79. You talk about a nice evening for baseball on Sunday. Take the kids out to the park, and let's beat these Braves. I mean it. Let's. If we
100%
could somehow again do better than a split, I'll be happy. But I had to get this off my chest. I was so mad.
I want to also remind you though that 2 years ago, leading into the playoffs, we had a Braves problem.
Yeah, we did.
We had a Braves problem, and when it really counted, we took care of it. So even though things go cyclical in this sport, and if you go back to 2007, we had a Mets problem until we didn't. Again, everybody stay calm.
I can't. I was so disgusted, but I appreciate your voice of reason. Let's talk about our Week 0 recap. We do have some pick results to share with you.
We do. Fresh off the presses.
By the way, both of us not doing terribly. We did split the Kansas State-Iowa State game. I want to congratulate you. We fought about the Phillies, but I'm
go back.
You called it.
Go.
I want to talk about that game. First of all, you called Iowa State. Both teams came out, and it was a sloppy game. And why was it sloppy?
The weather.
The weather.
The stadium was an embarrassment. I'm sorry.
Who told you the weather was going to be a factor?
We did. Weather Wagers told you first.
Now, we can't speak to the grounds crew or anything like that, but I will say it was a sloppy mess. And
was that Crayola paint on the field?
A lot of it had to do with the Aviva Stadium field. It was ugly.
It was awful.
And so the first half was ugly. There was a lot of ugly football. But, Dan, you kind of called it. As the game wore on, I thought Iowa State's O-line took over.
Yep, the physicality.
I thought the physicality was something else. Rocco Beck made some good decisions late in the game. That team is going to be one to contend with. Now, by the way, it's so early. These two teams could meet again in the Big 12 title.
Yeah, I guess what to me is sad is that this game was decided in kind of a poor way in many ways, that it wasn't on U.S. soil, and on top of that, the field conditions were terrible.
They really were. But nonetheless, you got it right. You picked Iowa State money line, and congratulations to you.
Go Cyclones.
And then I went with Hawaii for my best pick.
That was a great pick. That was really a great pick.
Vegas knows. 2.5.
Yeah.
They won by a field goal.
Frank kept it close.
He did, and I was a little surprised by it because I said lay him all day, and then I was very nervous at the end of that game.
Good coaching.
The kicker was from Japan. You know how he taught himself to kick?
He watched YouTube and maybe watched Little Weather Wagers.
I think he did. I hope he did. But there was great weather for that game, and how about Kansas coming
big
through
opening
big time?
statement.
Our friend of the podcast, Tim Brando,
on
called
the call.
That game.
Yes, he did. I think it's impressive that, I thought maybe it would be a little bit closer. The money was certainly on Kansas, but to come out and look as sharp as they did, they're going to be contenders in the Big 12.
They are, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So
Jalen Daniels, not Jaden.
We didn't learn a ton, but I think we learned Iowa State is fierce, and I think we learned Kansas is going to be something to be reckoned with.
Could Iowa State be this year's SMU? It's possible.
It's possible. Here's our season record, and by the way, we are looking for bets. I have an idea. I am 1-1, and obviously we showed you that because it's early in the year, but you starting out 2-0.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. This week one's going to be really hard.
Here's my idea.
Yep.
Here's my idea. How about we do a little swap-a-rooski? If you lose and I win the season record, you have to shave that beautiful beard. If I lose, I have to grow a beard, which I've never, ever done. What do you think about that?
I still have to ruminate on it a little bit.
You have to ask your wife.
Yes, she's never seen me without facial hair.
Is that right?
That's correct.
You need to ask her about that. I like the bet. Shiner, let's bring Shiner in. What do you think of that bet,
He's
Shiner?
got a nice beard going.
Yeah, it's officially football season, so the football beard's starting with week 1 here coming up. But, hey, I'm all for it. I think as long as the higher-ups in the Nexstar family don't have a problem with babyface Dan, I say we go ahead and do it.
Have a problem with it.
It's not the corporate overlords we have to worry about. It's our wives.
Fair enough.
How does your wife like your beard?
She forgets that it comes and goes. I mean, I start my beard at the end of August and I shave it in February after the Super Bowl. So it is a football
Your
beard.
winter coat coming in.
Yep, and I'm just lazy and don't like to shave. So in the winter months, it keeps your face warm, all that. But I'm like Dan. I haven't had a clean shaven face since I lost a bet in 2004 when the Steelers beat the Eagles, the TO year. I had a shave a
And
beard.
I remember that. I remember that game.
Yeah,
That's going back. That's going back.
That was the last time I was completely clean shaven. So
All right.
maybe I'll get a little side action on this too. If Dan's wife doesn't let him, maybe by proxy, I'll step in. We'll
You
see.
might need to step
I might
in.
even scare my child. That's my other
Well,
fear.
that's the other thing too.
Well,
You know?
think about it. We have a week yet. We have some time to decide this.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I like it. So think about it, and you let us know what you think. Now, it is time to talk about this week's games, and I will tell you.
It is a slate.
It is a slate. Let's get started with
Games of the Week.
and of course, now let me explain again how we do this.
Yep.
Each week we are picking our games of the week where weather is likely going to be a factor. And then we're going to talk about some other games, some under-the-radar games playing off our jobs, right? We are meteorologists.
What are we looking
a game
for?
that not many people know is happening or that not many people are talking about. And then we're each going to pick 3 games that we like the lines to, that
Interest,
we
yep.
think that we can
Yep.
make a good bet on.
Yep.
And we're going to pick 10 games that we can keep score. So
Or make you sweat on one of the two.
the first week, we only had 2 games because it was week 0. So let's talk about these games of the week now. I really do think we are going to have some weather issues with the South.
Yeah, the South is going to be active. I mean, most of the country has been high and dry the last couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
the rain's been kind of pushed to the South. So all these matchups could be in harm's way a little bit.
And the first one at Doak Campbell, Alabama travels to Florida State. Keep an eye on this one. It's 3:30 on our precious network, ABC. Alabama's a 2-touchdown favorite.
They're a 2-touchdown favorite. They have some injury concerns, though, at running back. His name, Jam Miller, I believe, having some injury concerns. So will the entire team travel to
And
Doak?
how's their new quarterback going to fare, Ty
Correct.
Simpson? And Florida State can't be that bad again, right?
If they are, and Mike Norvell is going to be probably out of a job before Thanksgiving.
And Kyle Fields also going to have some interesting weather, which we'll talk about. Texas A&M, 24-point favorite against UTSA. Probably they can take care of business,
I think
right?
they can take care of business. Just physicality, talent standpoint, they should be able to take care of business, but it might be closer than that line.
And then we got a big one Saturday night. Again, Death Valley to Death Valley. The Tigers going to the Tigers. Brian Kelly, who we've talked about on this podcast, Dabo Sweeney. They're going to be running toward Howard's Rock, and it's going to be at 7:30. Chris Kirk right here on ABC.
The big broadcast.
Clemson is a 3.5-point favorite at home.
I think that's the game of the weekend, don't you think?
I do too. I'm very excited about it because I've got some buddies coming into town. We've got a whole weekend planned, and of course by Sunday night they're going to be headed out. And I thought, there's still some big games on Sunday, and there are, but I think that LSU Clemson. I said I'm glad we're all together for that because
That's going to be
that
a
is going to be
four-quarter affair.
I think so too. It's going to be a good one. Now, 3 other games that have weather effects are Sunday and Monday. We're talking about the Carolina and the East Coast. We've got Virginia Tech, South Carolina. We've mentioned that game. Brent Pry, our old friend,
Brent Prize.
they're going to South Carolina. 7.5-point favorites are the Gamecocks.
Big expectations in South Carolina.
They've got Lenora Sellers.
They do.
And then we go to Miami. Keep an eye on this game. Notre Dame is a road favorite. I want you to be careful of road favorites, Danny.
I totally agree with you on that. What did I just say about home field for Phillies?
Yeah, it's going to be, and I think that one, actually, we're going to take a look at a map here in a
Stormy.
second. I think it's going to be sloppy.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. That one, maybe you want to consider the under. And Bill Belichick, his big Monday Night Football debut, not NFL Monday Night Football, but our Labor Day Monday night game. Sonny Dykes takes his team from TCU and travels to, what do they call him now? What's his name? Chapel Bill, right?
Chapel Bill, and North Carolina in the news here this week because of possible realignment possibilities. But let's get through the games first.
Yeah, and Bill may need some Advil to get through that game, I think. We do want to talk about the weather now because these games are going to be wet. Tell everybody the setup here because it's pretty obvious when you look at the map. Temperatures, look at College Station. It's going to be hot. Temperatures aren't the issue.
No, the heat and humidity is not the issue.
It's
but
this, what is it, a front?
Yeah, stationary front, so you can kind of see it carved out there, kind of making a half moon shape from Texas all the way through the Carolinas. And whether it's consistent rainfall along that front or afternoon pop-up showers and storms, heavy downpours,
Could we
lightning.
see, I was just going to say,
Yeah.
could we see the dreaded, and shout out to, again, Rusty. He's my friend. He's a friend of this podcast. The dreaded words, lightning in the distance.
it's
Could we
awful.
see it? Could we see it, though?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. Especially in Florida where they have lightning issues pretty much every day to begin with. Now you add in a area of convergence, an area of front activity. Yeah, it's anyone's guess. Can you get these games in
I
without
think we
that
might
issue?
be tweeting out some radar images
I
on
think we
Saturday.
might be
so
too.
Here's Saturday at 7. So you're coming off the Alabama Florida State game in Tallahassee. It looks wet. Remember, Clemson is home, so that game looks wet Saturday night. And then College Station could also be affected by this same front. Those are all outdoor venues,
Indeed,
with games taking place during this window on Saturday night. Now let's move into Sunday because this game is in Miami. The front shifts a little bit south and east.
Yeah, it
so
sags a little bit.
Look at Miami, 80 degrees. But again, I think it's wet Sunday night, don't you?
I do too. I think there's a high possibility either it rains during the game or before. So that really could affect field conditions. It is an open roof. There is a bit of a roof,
Hard
but
rock.
it's open. Yeah.
Now, Monday night, again, the good news here is I'm not sure it's going to rain for Chapel Hill, but I am concerned about the winds. And we heard Brad Powers on this show before that wind is actually a bigger
Yes.
that moves the lines more than
It's a big variable.
than the rain. But I do want to point out the rain here as we move into Saturday night. Look at Tallahassee. I mean, they
heavy.
could be talking about a half inch to an inch of rain.
Yep.
Okay. Clemson, not as much, but again,
Right on the edge.
This is a model. We're talking about a model. It's right on the edge. Now look at Miami Sunday.
Oof. Oof.
Right? That could be really wet.
Yeah. I mean, I think hopefully they'll have it in better condition than Ireland did, but still.
Well, I think we know how to take care of our fields here
Yeah.
in this country. But I will
We'll
say
leave that there.
I will say that again, Chapel Hill does not look all that wet, but it's the wind. So let's talk about that next. That's what we want to focus on too. I don't think there's going to be a lot of wind, but
Consistent
again,
wind, right.
you take a look at this breeze now. Atlanta, there is a game in Atlanta. We talked
Dome.
about one of them,
Yep.
but that's domed. Saturday night, Clemson, Tallahassee, College Station. I'm not that impressed with the wind, but look at Sunday.
Yeah, with the front on the move.
Yeah, keep an eye on Miami. It would not surprise me if that gets a little windy, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if, look at the coast.
There's some type of coastal development going on there,
Yeah.
and the wind's picking up.
I could see Chapel Hill getting a little breezy for Bill Belichick
I
on
agree with
Monday night.
We're on the same page thinking that.
Yeah, so keep that in mind when we pick these games, too. You may want to consider the over-unders. You may want to consider the unders for these games because of the slop factor as we move into the weekend. But now let's talk about our picks for these games because we differ on some. We're the same on some. I think you're going to be surprised by the first pick. We're both going Florida State to cover that 14. That's a lot of points.
It's a lot of
they're
points.
They're at home. They can't be that bad. And I think Alabama.
The pressure is on Florida State right now, too.
It is, but I think Alabama has some question marks,
They do.
right?
They do. I mean, you and I both like Kalen DeBoer. I still think it's an odd fit as their head coach.
Yeah.
But he's got a lot to prove this year. I mean, last year was a bit of a disappointment. And if you already are down Jam Miller leading into this game, that could be very problematic for how the offense runs.
It just seems like this could be a game where Florida State comes out. They might still lose, but maybe by 3, by 10, 2 touchdowns.
Keeping it close. Keeping it close.
I'm not sure about that. I think
Yep.
that could be, and especially if weather is a factor, look out. Not a lot of surprises here, too.
Roadrunners, UTSA.
I know, but they didn't have that good of a
No,
season.
I agree.
And I believe they're in the American Conference.
I think you are correct with all this
or is it
realignment. It's hard
Conference
to,
USA?
It's hard to keep
I
track. I think
can't-
they did make the American. I think they moved up.
But we both went 24, and they're going to cover that pretty
Texas
easily,
A&M
right?
could be very, very good this year.
I think so, and they might be one of those surprise teams that is in it. I mean, they were in it last year.
Yes, they
Remember
were.
their big game with Texas? That was for the SEC title game,
And it was
last
good.
year.
It was a good game.
Yep. Who do we have, Shiner?
They are in the American Conference.
Okay, we were right. Just wanted to make sure because there's a lot of shifting.
There's too much shifting around.
But this is the game. We talked about it last week. We're different, and I am. Let me explain something to you, my friend.
Here comes the Dabo apologist.
I am all in on Mr. Dabo Sweeney this year. I think he's got the team. I think he built it correctly through recruiting and high school recruiting. I think he's got the quarterback. Never underestimate a Dabo defense that's now run by Tom Allen. They're at home. Brian Kelly loses every first game he's played in at LSU. Dabo wins, and he wins by more than 3.5. I think he could win by 10. I think it could be like a 34-24 game.
This is what I think. I think it comes down to who has the ball last, and it's a field goal game.
Well, why do you hate Dabo so much?
I don't hate Dabo. I just think
Why do you pick on Dabo so much?
he had his run. He had his glory. I truly think he has ignored modern day college football. The offense just reeks of needing some type of renovation to me. And I think Brian Kelly, this is the year he gets off the schneid. I think he saves his job this year. I think they figure it out. I think they're a problem in the SEC. I really do. Nussmeier could be the Heisman candidate this year.
Ooh, man. I mean, you're talking about some big things there. You're talking about some big things. So we'll see.
Go Tigers.
I like that we're different on this game because it is the biggest game of the weekend. So we're gonna put you on the old Roy bus, as Dabo says, the rest of y'all, and we're gonna ride that bus all the way through South Carolina, and that's going to be a fun game. Let's talk briefly about Penn State because their opener is coming here. And no, we have to pick the other game. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
We're excited about Penn State. Trust me.
No, we are. But first, there's not a lot of difference here either. But we will pick South Carolina, USC to go and cover that 7.5. Right?
I don't think there's much to Brent Pry's team. I think, unfortunately, it's going to be a rough year. I think it's going to be a bowl year, maybe. But
but they're not going to beat a team that has high expectations to compete in the Southeastern
Conference. They could be another
Conference.
problem in the Southeast Conference. I mean, that conference is loaded, as we know.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that one. But we think South Carolina handles it safely. We agree. So we've agreed on more than we disagreed with.
Yes, we have.
Now, here's one we do disagree on. Remember, Notre Dame is a small road favorite. I think Miami can handle this. I have questions about Notre Dame. I have questions about their quarterback situation.
Sure, new quarterback.
I have questions about their defense. I have questions about their offensive line. Can it still be as good and as strong as last year? They're going to want to play physical ball. I like Miami here. Now, I don't know how far Miami can go. I have questions about Cristobal.
Me too.
I have questions about it, but they do have the Georgia transfer at quarterback.
Yes.
Camp.
Yeah. Which, I mean, what a weird situation.
It is, but he's ready to go, baby. And I think at home, I like them money line here.
See, I want to parlay off of something you said, the physicality component. I just don't think Miami has the Jimmies and Joes to stack up against Notre Dame's lines. I think it's going to be a slow kind of pace game. I think it's going to be a lot of, if it's going to be sloppy. It's going to be a lot of 3 and outs I can envision, kind of boring for a while. And then it'll probably pick up toward the end.
I agree.
So I think that advantage, even on the road, goes to Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame, I will say, as a humble Penn State fan, after last season in the semifinals, they showed me they play 4 quarters and they play tough.
They were good. There's no doubt about it. And then we both agree too. We never really liked this hire, did we?
No,
at North Carolina.
Makes no sense.
I don't think it makes a lot of sense. If he proves us wrong, fine. Then we'll have something to talk about.
I'm sure they will be fundamentally sound. I just don't know if they have the talent.
I don't think they have any talent, and I'm not sure how Bill is going to coach college kids. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a weird mix.
Give me TCU to cover that on the. I know that they're a small road favorite again. Be careful of the road favorites.
And they laid an egg last year. So
I'm sorry. I don't see Bill competing.
No, I don't either.
All right, we agree on that. Now let's get to Happy Valley.
Look at that shot.
It's a gorgeous one. Beaver Stadium is ready for a holiday weekend of football.
Those temporary bleachers are ready.
We're not picking this game, but we will just say that we think that, we hope they hold up. It's not going to be breezy. It's going to be sunny, pleasant, great day for tailgating.
This is what you want. This is the time of the year. I remember these opening games so well, so fondly, because it's warm, it's sunny, everybody's having a great time. It's in the middle of the day.
Beaver Stadium looks good there, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Have fun this weekend, folks, up in Happy Valley. It's going to be great. They cover. James isn't going to let this go. They cover the 44.5.
I think they cover the 44.5. I will be curious, though, to see if everything's clicking on all cylinders to start the game.
Well, and that's what these next 3 games are about. How's that receiving core look? Do we look? Are we going to beat these teams by 40 or 50 points the way a national championship contender should? If we do, that's going to silence a lot of people.
I think this is just my personal theory. I think they can win the game alone just on their running game. And I'd be curious to see, especially in this first maybe 2-week period, if they lean heavily on the run and insert the pass here and there.
Yeah, just to keep some things close to the vest and to break in those receivers.
Correct.
And we know we have the running talent, and we have the line, by the way.
We have the line.
So let's
use them.
All right, it is time to go under the radar.
Under the radar.
So, again, for those of you that remember the podcast and maybe need a little bit caught up, this is a game that we believe is going to be a really good game that not a lot of people know is happening or that maybe not a lot of people are talking about.
We're junkies, so we kind of look at these things.
That's right. This game has started to get some mention, and I think this game is a really big game for both coaches because Dave Aranda has survived.
I think that's an understatement.
Dave Aranda has survived at Baylor, and Hugh Freeze still feels like, when are you going to get it going, Hugh?
Well, he started from such a low point. I almost feel bad for him.
No, I do too, to an extent, but He is.
He took the job.
He's supposed to make this happen. Auburn is, again, a small road favorite. Why I like this game, it's a Friday night. It kind of has the spotlight to itself. It's fun. It's a fun game on a Friday. It's the primetime game on Fox. Auburn, 2.5. Who do you like?
I do like Auburn. However, this is a big however. I think these teams are probably close talent-wise, which I don't think many people would.
Dan. Baylor's in the Big 12. They're not close to Auburn, who's in the mighty SEC, right?
Not so fast, my friend, as someone famous would say.
Okay. You think that they could give them a game at home?
I think they could give them a whale of a game at home, especially because I think the expectations you mentioned on Dave Aranda are high.
Yeah, no, they are. And, he's Mr. Defense. Hugh Freeze is Mr. Offense. That could be a fun fight.
Could be a very fun fight.
Let's now go to my best bets of the week.
Time now for Brett's Best.
I get the clown music. I hear it. But it is time. And, Dan, these are games I think I can maybe actually, get some money down on here. And I'm going way off the grid here, okay? I know that for you, you may not even know some of these teams, but we're going Kennesaw State at Wake Forest.
Who?
7 o'clock, ACC Network. Do you know where that is on your dial?
I don't.
Well,
I have to look for it.
Wake Forest is a 17.5 point favorite. Kennesaw State barely won a game last year. Give me Wake to come out and pummel them.
Okay.
I like Wake Forest, and I like them big against one of the teams that, is a joke in the FBS. Now, Texas, Ohio State, noon Fox. Yes, I'm
Weather's
picking
not
that
a
game.
factor.
Weather's not a factor. But you know what I think is? They've got 2 new quarterbacks. All we've done is talk about these guys from the time Julian Sand was at Alabama to now he's at Ohio State after Nick Saban left. All we know who's on the other sideline, Arch Manning. What if this game is more about the defenses
It very well could
than
be.
it is about
especially this early in the season.
2 new quarterbacks? Right. It's early. These offenses have to find their rhythm. You talked about Penn State's trying to find its rhythm. I like the under here.
This is so intriguing on so many levels. I mean,
I like the under here.
Different coordinators too for Ohio
Yes.
State. Sark kind of leaving the door open to a national championship last year. Could have had it.
And my gut says this number is going to go lower.
Yes, I agree with that.
So if you can hop on now at 47.5, you might be good. Now, I could also see it being like a, 24, 27 game, and then you're kind of cooked. But I would hop on. I like the under. And then finally, Georgia Southern at Fresno. Now, remember, Fresno State.
They just got beat pretty bad.
They got beat by Kansas. I think they're down. I think they got pummeled. Who is going to want to come back?
Right the season a little bit.
And do that. I don't think they have it. I like Georgia Southern.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I'm not following my own advice. I'm telling you to be careful of the small road favorites.
Okay.
But I am going to go with the small road favorite
Okay.
there. All right, Dan, what are your games? Let's cue them up.
It's Doppler Dandies.
Let's hear the dandies.
These are the dandies. So let's look at the slate here. I think Texas, Ohio State may be the second best game of the weekend, but a sneaky one is Syracuse and Tennessee because Tennessee has big expectations, but don't poo-poo Syracuse too much because they've been competitive the last few years, and this would be a tough first game, I think, for anybody on their schedule.
They are up to a 14-point favorite.
I know, which is surprising to me. It seems high.
But with all the buzz about Syracuse, this is kind of one of those two where I feel like maybe just Tennessee comes out and thumps.
Maybe.
But they've got a new quarterback.
Yes. So obviously the whole Nico saga in the background too, and will that actually play out the way the Tennessee faithful think?
Well, we're going to find out, and then I see you have Googled Kirk Cignetti.
I've Googled Kirk Cignetti because it's a very interesting matchup. ODU, which, if you don't know, also has a friend of the program, Ricky Ronnie.
Oh, our old offensive coordinator.
Yep,
Mr.
our old-
4th and 5.
Mr. 4th and 5, whatever happened there, it's forever etched in the history books. I think Indiana has no trouble, but I will be kind of flipping back and forth just to see how that game's going for them.
And finally, how about this interesting matchup? We
Yes.
have
This
Coastal-
line seems stinky to me.
really? Now, why is that? You got Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers heading up to UVA.
And Tony Elliott.
And is he still there? That's
He's
one of
still there.
Dabo's disciples.
One of Dabo's disciples has never really got his footing there.
And Virginia's favored by 12 points. Who do you like here?
I think Coastal Carolina is going to keep it closer than 12.
Interesting.
Now
And
they're
these
just
are all
off the
Saturday
wall,
games, right?
Off the wall game, but
Any
keep
weather
your
in
eye
that
on it.
game? Probably not. They're
Probably not,
good.
but a little too far north.
All right. Listen, you've heard us talk, so now it's time. We do have to come up with a bet for these games, but It's time to give the recap and for final picks.
Final picks.
Well, this is going to be fun. We are thinking alike on a lot of these games.
Yeah. But we could both be wrong. It's early.
We're not thinking alike on every single one. So here is the rundown. I'll give you mine, and then, Dan, you can go. But I am going to pick Florida State to cover the 14. I just think it's a high number against a Bama team that I think is good, but I want to see it.
Yep.
Texas A&M should have no problem with 24 against UTSA. Clemson, I'm riding Dabo, and I think there's a chance Penn State, if we are who we think we are, could see Dabo in the playoffs.
Huh?
Yeah, I like Shane Beamer to cover the 7.5. I'm picking Miami money line for what I think will be a slot fest.
Fun game
down there in South Florida. TCU handles Bill Belichick easily. I think Hugh Freeze, this is his year, and by that I mean I think they are going to be contending for a playoff spot, maybe like a 9-3 team. And if you're going to be that team, you got to beat Baylor on Friday night.
You have to.
So I will take Hugh, and then for my best bets, give me Wake Forest to handle Kennesaw State easily. I like the under, as I mentioned. I think it's going to be a defensive game for Texas and Ohio State, 47.5, and Georgia Southern should cover the 1.5. That small road favorite. Dan, who do you like?
Well, I feel similar to you. I think Alabama gets it done, but Florida State covers the spread. Looking at Texas A&M, I also think they get the job done. I think they are a real contender, but watch the weather in that one. LSU keeps it extremely close, and I think it's a field goal game at the end, so I pick LSU to cover.
We should emphasize, too, I think that game could be weather.
Yes,
could be weather.
Exactly.
And that's the biggest
I
game
hope
of
I'm
Saturday.
wrong. I hope I'm wrong because it is a big one, and they deserve to have things being quiet. All right, South Carolina, Lenore Sellers gets the job done, but very interesting to watch them because they are likely a playoff contender. See what they got. Notre Dame, I think, takes care of Miami on the road.
Wow, Catholics, convicts.
That's my big pick of the week.
All right, we will see how you do.
And TCU getting the job done, similar to your thinking. Auburn, if this is not the win that Hugh Freeze needs, I think he's in trouble. I think he's in big trouble if they drop this one.
You can't lose to Baylor.
Can't do it. Can't do the out-of-conference loss, especially when the SEC is so tough. Tennessee taking care of business, but a whole new outlook for that program without Nico. So I want to see what that looks like. Indiana might have a little touch-and-go moments maybe in the first half. I think they end up pulling away in the end of the second half. And then UVA does not cover the spread. They win, and they don't cover against Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, give us a $3 here, Shiner, real quick, because we do need to wrap up here. But is there any pick on that board that you think just seems crazy?
Crazy? I think the Ohio State Texas under. I'm a little concerned because obviously a new defensive coordinator. Friend of Penn State has moved on.
Eagles.
Yep. So I think this might be more of a shootout than your defensive struggle that you're looking at here.
Well, that's going to be the fun part
Matt
to see how that plays
Yeah,
out.
we'll see what happens.
Nothing would please me more than if he fails, and I mean,
Wow.
If he fails, and Jim Knowles is our hero.
Yeah,
there you go.
The only way I've seen Matt Patricia succeed is when he's with Bill. So if North Carolina ever needs help there, but isn't Bill's son the coordinator there? So
Yep.
I think there's some nepotism going on. Yeah,
I would think
For
so
sure.
too. Thank you, Shiner, as always, for winging. Dan, any final thoughts here as we close things down? Because I know this is a big week. It's sort of like Christmas to all of us college football fans, right?
I mean, you get two of the best teams in the country facing off, Texas, Ohio State. That could be a huge data point for the rest of the year that we talk about nonstop. The Tiger matchup there in the other Death Valley, another one we'll probably talk about for most of the year because it has such high implications. What I like is I'll be able to relax for the most part week one with Penn State. I hope. Get out of the game healthy, get out of the game with everybody intact, and let's make a run this year. Now, in the back of my mind, I don't know how you're thinking about this, but I was thinking about it again this morning on my drive in. It's always going to be in the back of my mind. Oregon. And I know James wants to do the LTFI. Is that it? Did I get that right?
Yes.
But I think it's hard not to look ahead when that is such an early test coming out of these weaker non-conference opponents.
No, I agree with you. And yeah, I mean, final thought about Penn State is, we didn't talk about them a lot this week, but we have everything in place now.
We do.
We have
Supposedly we do.
We have a head coach that wants to be here, believes in the program. He has long said his goal is to be the first African-American to win a national title. That's on the table. He has probably the best OC in D.C. he's ever had, and maybe the best combo in the country. He's got a 5-star quarterback. Still needs to improve, but he's got all the ingredients there, Drew
He has the
Aller.
arm talent.
He's got a new receiving core. That receiving core, the fans knew it, and I think the team knew it. It needed to be turned over. He did that, and he did that with NIL. He's got 2 running backs. They got them both back. He said that he didn't think James Franklin that they would both come back. They've got them. They've got an offensive line that's up for the Joe Moore Award for the best O-line in the country. They want to play for that. They've got a defense that has denied Dennis Sutton and a lockdown corner with AJ. I mean, they've got a favorable schedule for the most part.
They do. It's in front of them.
This is going to be the year, and they better step up. And yes, Oregon is that first test, but I do think you've got to watch these first 3 games.
Yep.
What do they rely on? The run? What do they rely on? Do they get those receivers involved? Listen, we're going to be talking about it all throughout the week, and we hope you'll join us. Here's our social media. You can find us on Facebook, meteorologist Dan Tomaso, meteorologist Brett Thakara. He is at Doppler Dan on Instagram and X. I'm Brett Thack, ABC27 on X and Instagram. And, of course, Dan, tell him the email.
weatherwagers@gmail.com, and we are checking that inbox.
We do. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you think of our beard wager, and if you want to pressure Dan into that, we would be happy to do it. Until then, everybody, we hope that you all have a terrific week. Enjoy week 1, and, of course, Weather Wagers. We'll see you right back here next week.